round of 64, Allied Esports Odyssey, 15,000 euro qualifier here. Finally getting underway, and Team Bonk, we've been talking about them quite a bit already. Here's Bonkar himself playing the Sova to start us off on
right,
defense.
and this is, like we mentioned a little bit in our impromptu pre-stream, Bonk is definitely favorites going into this. Just some players to watch out for right away is Yassine and Safe. Both of these players have been absolutely tearing up during the mandatory.gg Cup versus Opportunists, who a little bit on the newer end of the entries here, but hopefully looking to make a name for themselves in the qualifying matches here.
All right, just trying to prettify this overlay a little bit so you can read these team names.
Cover going out.
And now we're watching Necro, the attacking Omen, switching on over to Sage, switching on over a million times, catching all the different entry angles here, and Cypher already with the offensive cage to try and get over to that orb freely. I do like that move.
Yeah, trying to make his way forward here onto the A site, and right now, ooh, opening kill opened up on by Safe there, and still making their way in through connector.
So defense already with the upper hand. You can hear the door closing nearby. Safe watching that A entry angle, but no one is there. Instead, it's going to be over at the cubby where the spike is currently. Lots of Jet and Omen smokes blocking things up here vision-wise here.
Yeah, and that's going to be Z's with a couple of really good frags to start that one off. And that's sort of the trap of Ascent, especially when you're prodding that far up mid. You kind of need to pull the trigger and hit that go button, because you get locked up by all those Omen smokes like you mentioned, and it really starts to slow down. You get caught out in that entryway, and you can let rounds fly.
So first round, obviously going to the defense here. That's going to afford them a little bit of extra cash. They could choose to buy up some SMGs if they want to go that route and just have the superior fire force, or they can save again, and everyone can have ARs in the third round. But looks like still Ghosts, and here's a Spectre on Bonker, for example.
Yeah, Z's and Bonker both grabbing up a Spectre here, looking to try to put some rounds down, and Z's is going to be the one to start things off with another little triple there. Well, Logan's going to trade that one back. Not going to lose out on the gun, and for now, Safe should just be able to stall their advance.
So you actually saw that triple slightly before I did. Hopefully I'll maybe refresh it between rounds here and we'll get back on exact timing. But, oh, Cypher eating the blast pack to the face there. Yassine using all the utility to get that done. Sage is still carrying the spike, but is alone on the map now. Can't see this going well. Yeah, surrounded at Cubby, and that'll be defenders up 2-0.
Yeah, that's going to be, like you mentioned, Bonk. Of course, favorites in this tournament and starting things off with a very dominant performance. Now, fortunately, this will mean a full buy round, as I think they had a full save. They had pretty much full saved. Decent amount of utility as well on the side. So it's easy to shrug off those first two rounds and just kind of say, all right, you know, we lost the pistol round. We can shake this off. We can come back. And now, Opportunists. This is the first round to show us what you got, so.
All right, Omen Smoke just keeping Omen blind on B defense. It looks like that is a split push basically all the way across the map. They haven't really decided to force one area, looking for picks instead. Rodin finding the headshot on Yassine does open up a little bit of a gap there, but the Sage Wall will buy them some time at A.
Yeah, and given the gun scenario, I was just one of those players, we can get aggressive. We don't lose out too much. It really only costs them a $400 wall and losing out on raise. So there is an opportunity here for the Opportunists, and we'll see if their namesake holds true for taking advantage of it here, as Safe is looking for another jiggle peek, but Rodin's going to be the one who puts him down there. A great way to start this off, as it's 3-5.
Yeah, Rodin has been pretty impressive already, racking up these kills. Ziz now lurking around mid on defense, but they are undermanned here. Still 5 attackers, and it looks like B, this 3-man squad here, tiptoeing forward, and there are no defenders on B. So as soon as they realize that, as soon as they get the site clear, we'll see the dominoes start to fall. But Brams does catch another defender. This is all but certain. You know, 5 versus 2 at this point. It would be pretty tough to come back, and Rodin grabbed himself a 3rd kill.
Yeah, that's Roden picking up that kill there. And I kind of like this execute. It's a risky commit onto the A site to send 2 members in, but at the position you're in, you can kind of afford that man advantage. And with Z's being forced to try and save, see what he has up in store for us. He spots out the Cypher, and we'll be able to get that frag. He doesn't know that one more is there, but he's going to play around his smokes for now.
He's surrounded. Of course, we can see that with the X-ray vision, but he's going to keep himself sheltered here. Can he grab one more kill? Yes. Maybe another before this is all said and done. Oh,
he ran out of ammo.
The Omen's back, but didn't have the ammo. That's rough. Good round,
Yeah,
though.
coming right through the smoke there. He could see the stream of bullets coming out, but he couldn't quite identify where he was. And if he goes for the reload there, he gives away his position. So, unfortunately, caught out with just 3 phantom shots. Not going to be enough to knock down anyone of note in that round.
And still would love to see the buy menu once in a while, just so we can, see everybody at one time. But Vandal, Dragon Vandal.
I've messaged the Observer to try and
thank you, Mr. Phil. I appreciate it.
See,
I know you would have shown the buy menu, okay? No question.
That's exactly it.
Look at this blue flaming Dragon Vandal, though, and the red Dragon, and the other Dragon.
skins.
Team
All
Dragon.
the different elements.
I love it.
So good.
And it looks like, once again, prodding towards this A bomb site. They got 5 here, and it looks like they're going to dash in. Aaron's going to be the one to start that one off. With a starting frag there onto Bram's. Team captain down, and we'll hope that the disarray doesn't sow discourse, but Safe's going to get a good frag to even that one up. 2-1 so far as Roden strikes back.
4 defenders standing, and Cypher using the ultimate as well to glean all that information. That was the attacking Cypher, trying to spot all the defenders up there on the Heaven area, but the spike is on the site. He is planting regardless with 4 defenders remaining. Safe here with the op. Going to be very difficult to catch an angle there, so might need the teammates to jump in first. Bonker shooting through the floor, gets that frag.
Yeah, finds his way onto Hoppy there, and you have a decent amount of time to play with, but everyone is funneled into one spot, save for Z's and the Rays coming around the corner here. Double peeks, and it goes 1 for 1 so far. Hell is going to be the last place that he's standing, but Bonker's not going to let him stand for very long, and Team Bonk cleaning up that round.
Team Bonk up 3-1 now. Dragons all around if they want to pick them up and be styling on the opponents there. But yeah, 3-1, solid start. I do think Ascent is CT-sided or defense-sided, as CT does not exist in this game. But that's my personal thought. What's your take on offense versus defense here?
For Ascent specifically, I feel mid was, I think, during the development of the meta of this map was kind of divisive, where a lot of teams were kind of looking at mid on T side as kind of a bait if you don't have enough you don't have enough ops to kind of take down that area. But you can even see there with that Sova arrow coming in, there's so many good spots to get so much information on the attacking side of mid that you don't even necessarily need to control it on the CT side. You really just need to have enough utility to get your information out, and hopefully the side lanes will give you what you need. As Brams is going to find what he needs, getting a frag onto Safe there. Takes a bit of damage for it, but 1 for none at the start of the round.
Yeah, a little bit of a duel, finally kicking things off. It looks like they again split across the map. Sometimes that's called a default split, where it's like 2-1-2. You got 2 on each site and 1 in mid, but there's another kill here for the attackers, and they are mounting this advantage. Aaron, the Cypher, has been doing pretty well holding A, but he's surrounded now, and yeah, it's not going to take long as the attackers just march into A. Only 1 defender left with Sova. Bonker, we see his POV now, but again, surrounded, spikes planted. Probably doesn't need to save. Good kill there. He only has 100 credits, so I mean, you might as well take people with you if you can.
Right, he has an opportunity to save the op, but it looks like he's feeling the opportunity. No, that's not the op you're looking for, as he will grab it out there. He might get spotted on his way around. Oh, just barely.
Yeah.
So close.
Yeah, slipping past the Sova there, ends up escaping his way to the B bomb site, and Roden might be the next one to come in contact with him, but it looks like Bonker's going on a bit of a journey here.
Revealing area.
As Bonker loops around, obviously he's just trying to save some cashola. I don't know if he's been playing the op. I don't think he has, actually. I think it's been mostly the Jet player, or the Sage, actually, on defense is safe.
Yeah, and that's another kind of development that's come about more recently when we're talking about sort of the metas that develop in early Valorant play is sort of ops on Sages and playing very aggressive battle Sages, as they're kind of known. Safe especially being one of the players, I believe he had a 225 ACS coming out of the mandatory.gg Cup, so he's somebody that you can give the op to, and you can expect some results. So we'll see if he's able to deliver here.
And just reference, as always, ACS is average combat score. You get points for frags, obviously. You know, first blood is worth more than second blood, etc., etc. So Phoenix, who I play, tends to have a higher average combat score just because he has more lives than other people. But people were complaining about it. You know, Sage, as a more support character, was having a harder time getting higher average combat scores. But maybe this Battle Sage meta will flip that on its head. The attackers right now still fully intact, still splitting pretty evenly, but they do have 3 over on the B site right now, with only Cypher really defending that area. Could be a good entry for them.
Right, and the double Omen ult pops in the backside of B here. This is a great spot to be in, as the execute is coming through now. It's a 1-for-1 so far, but the rest of the team is rotating in from Bonk, as Aaron and Bonk are going to grab up 1 apiece. Bram's looking for an opportunity. Right click's going to spot him out, misses the second one.
Well, he got that single kill and was able to at least back out there. Bram's scoring a headshot with just, you know, the gun, not the ult this time. Raze, though, hopping into play with the rocket, does not get the kill he's looking for. And Jet is going to try to block that vision. Sage with the slow on the side means the defense is still sort of reeling here. However, only 1 attacker left. Can Brams lock it up?
Right, Bomb still needs to go down, but it's a 1 versus 1, and it looks like he's going to try and force the fight on him, but Brams is going to come out on top.
What a kill there. 4 kills for Brams. He got ultimate kills. He got some headshots. He's swinging the knife like crazy here. Ties things up. Keeps his team neck and neck with the defenders. Excellent round for him. The rest of the team, obviously, you know, chipping in there, but Brams making it look pretty easy there with those last couple of kills.
Right, and that's the kind of rallying play that you want from your team captain. So if Brams is able to hold up that momentum, it'll serve dividends, as it looks like on the side of Bonk, they are going to be going into a sort of light buy, sheriffs and pistols with a little bit of light armor, saving up for that next round. So
yeah, they obviously are under firepowered. The defense here sort of outmatched, but you know, that's just patience, utility. You got to try and get those pistol kills just where you can. And you see Yassine actually here being kind of sneaky, hopping up on some terrain, trying to pop some shots over, but Safe actually does get the pistol kill on Rodin. That's a nice pickup for the defenders. Still a 4v4 situation, and another Sheriff kill goes the way of the defense.
Right, Bonk starting things off nicely here. Necro's going to turn around for that one. Find it a good turnaround there onto Aaron, and now it looks like B is the execute site. Necro's in a great spot to catch rotations, but they are onto him at this point, as that's going to be Yassine finding him out, trying to duel that, but does not have the eco to do exactly that. They are going to pop the res right away, which is a little bit surprising on an eco round, but they feel like they can make this happen.
I agree, very surprising. This is a round that I would consider more of a throwaway, obviously, as you're on pistols and they're not. You got a couple of kills already, but to commit the res, they must be feeling good about it. They did grab guns off people they killed, but Hoppy now punishing them for that decision. 3 kills straight there from an easy angle, just looking at market there. So Hoppy looking strong, and the attackers now have the lead for the first time.
Right, and Hoppy definitely making them regret their ult choice. And to touch on what you were talking about with kind of that ult the Sage ult being popped in an interesting spot, it's kind of a little bit, we're watching kind of Bonk give away a lot of utility in those ult slots. We did see in the round prior, the Hunter's Fury being popped just to kind of probe out mid, but we're not seeing a whole lot of value coming out of it. And if that's, you know, if you're throwing away ults like that, definitely gives Opportunists their chance to try and make something happen if they're able to get better value out of it.
I'm so
There's
scared right
Poland
now.
Hunter Furies popping out here.
Oh my god, the 5-man stack on A is never, you know, what I would consider a strong play, but the fact is the Sova ultimate shook the defenders so much, and the defenders are nowhere near. Like, Yassine is wrapping all the way around from spawn at this point, and the attackers seem to have pretty firm ground. Spikes planted, they had 2 in hell already, and covering every angle.
Right, and he did blast pack in, so I do think they know that he's there, but Hoppy's turned around here. Will he get spotted out? He will. Yassine's gonna open up on that one. A second one soon to follow thereafter.
Yassine popping off there, actually trying to save the game, or save the round. We do have Sage still hanging out in hell area. Bram's getting taken down by the op, and this just collapsed like a house of cards. 2v2, still Cypher, the lone attacker left in hell. The defuse is out. Can he stop it? Looks like Sage is trying to duel, does get that op shot. Wow, I wish we had seen that POV safe with a monster clutch there.
Right, definitely pulling his weight and then some in that kind of a round, and almost had the opportunity to stick it, but he did get the half, and that's kind of... That always adds that extra dynamic of you get the half and you have that moment of, okay, I can pop off now, and in the case of safe, ends up paying dividends.
Absolutely a skill cap maneuver there. As you play more Valorant, you learn, you know, those situations where you can just have to fuse. Safe, obviously very confident there. Got the close range op shot. That's really, you know, if I'm in that position, I'm scared to have to fuse because close range op shot can just go wild so easily. But Safe obviously has the hours put in with that gun. Feels very confident, and now we've got a new round here. Again, it's going to be a default sort of split 2-1-2.
Definitely, and when you have the resume, you can afford to make plays like that, but he's a solo member onto B right now. We'll see if his resume is going to hold up. He will put a wall up just to delay the advance onto B side here, while the A execute from Rodin still trying to find his way forward, destroying a lot of utility on the way, so decent amount of impact to the wallet and the options that Cypher has on that A side.
All right, Hoppy has been revealed, but no casualties just yet. Time obviously ticking it down. Still no kills. Defense actually very, very close to the attackers, but Jet has the knives out. Aaron is in a scary, scary spot. Jet not even needed.
Right, and speaking of knives, Brams is going to bring his own knives out. Aziz is going to find one, find two, but Brams is going to be pulling back over to trade that frag over. Still knives in the air, but Safe is going to put them down. Another op kill over to him. He's walled off for now and doesn't have to be too worried about anyone coming over, but that's going to be a find onto Necro there. Rodin with a great position to trade that back over,
like
but
the same
Bomb
instant.
should be going down here.
That op shot and Sage going down were like the exact same moment. That's unlucky for the attackers here, but just Raze not going, well, yeah, just gets the cleanup. Actually does get the collapse through the wall.
Yeah, and definitely a bit unlucky for the side of Bonk there, but possibly well communicated by Opportunists from that scenario. You did see Omen kind of lurking around in the connector area because he knew that Safe only had one way out going, or had two technically, but was going up towards that window. He would be able to see him over the Sage wall. I was a little bit surprised to see Rodin that far up on the heaven rafter there, but didn't seem to be working out for them. Is now stacking up over towards the B-bomb site, looking to play heavy on this side.
That's a couple of consecutive rounds now for the defenders. That's Team Bonk here, and you can see kind of Raze actually just lighting them up there. They stacked heavy B this time, so something I always like to do is watch the A site folks and see when they start to rotate. When can they actually commit to dealing with the 5 push? And you see Omen actually starting to make tracks now as they do come into the B site hallway.
Right, you are, and it looks like they are going to make the execute out. That's going to be Jet dashing onto site, and a lot of lurking potential coming out here from the side of Opportunists, but Bonker and Z's cleaning that one up nicely.
Excellent combined fire there. Z's also finding another and actually switches to the classic. The spike is being planted, but 1 bullet is all it takes to shut that down from Safe. And 6-4 is your scoreline now. That's 3 rounds in a row successfully defended. We are getting closer and closer to the half here. It was looking kind of nice for Opportunists there once they finally grabbed the lead. They looked like they had some momentum, but now a couple of close rounds later, And Bonk, once again, with the upper hand. They've got the cash, they got the guns, they got the ladies, and Opportunists looking for anything they can get.
Right, and to kind of touch on to like circle back to what you're mentioning earlier, the all-out aggression onto a single site from Opportunists, over-aggression almost seems to be their undoing here, as now we're starting to see returning to like a 3-2, not exactly playing very hard for the mid lane, as it looks like control is held by Bonk for now, but I definitely think that you had the right idea for them in you can't be overly aggressive onto one site, because when you're playing too far up, you just give that much more room you have to cover, and Bonk has just kind of picked apart them in the past couple rounds.
And I have noticed also just Bonk really don't like to push out past mid until basically a spike is planted. Like they do a really good job with their patience generally. And, you know, again, we're in a situation where Opportunists, 40 seconds are already burned off, 50 seconds now before anyone's even exchanging fire. They're just all tossing utility, trying to gain information. So this, I'm not sure if they should be more aggressive, just because, you know, these time to plant end up with like 15 seconds or less each round when they do actually get onto a site. So they might be making it a little more difficult on themselves. Of course, you can't just force your way through a brick wall either. So we'll have to see if they can finagle something like, oh, that Rodin kill on the save, for example.
I know exactly where.
Yeah, that's going to start things off, but it will be the B execute, as Silva's going to be making his way on. They're going to find Bonker out, and that's going to be them finding the bomb plant on B. And it was actually, the opening frag was huge for this round. You got Bonker to give up his position on B site and rotate over, paid dividends in the way of, okay, everyone's rotating off of B, everyone's going to A. When you have 3 men rushing out and you're just caught in transition, not going to be able to answer that one very heavily.
Yeah, and you see where Cypher is now? Like, this is the kind of thing, I mean, they're undermanned, obviously. It's 2 versus 4 here. I don't expect them to even try to take this site, right, at this point. They've got Cypher way on the other end of the world. Yeah, Ray is unable to do anything there, so this is pretty much a foregone conclusion. Rodin with the opening kill there and a third frag. Rodin really impressing here as an offensive Cypher, which is tough to do.
Definitely, and we don't know a ton about the econ position here, but is Aaron gonna find him out here? Oh, barely gonna gets out on that duel, and Logan's gonna be the one taking that one home. So for last round, it looks like should have an okay buy over on the side of Bonk, but finishing the half 6-6 is a pretty good position to be in for Opportunists if you are entering as the underdog into this game.
Yeah, not expected to win the match at all, regardless of map, and the fact is, I think Ascent is defensive-sided, so getting in with 5 attacker rounds is actually kind of nice. Obviously, the more the merrier for them, but Rodin here, again, we've been watching this offensive Cypher get first blood a couple of times. He's going to have to be responsible here for helping out because the bulk of his team already went onto Site B. There is a Sova lurking on Site B.
That there is, and he's going to get found out here. Should just be going down. This is looking like Opportunists' round to take. We're coming out of the mid-entrance now. Yassine is sneaking his way through here. Gonna get tagged up by his teammate, but no team damage, so not too worried. But he will be going down to Brams. That damage definitely sticks. And Z's is gonna have quite the job in front of him, but something that he can't quite execute on. Hoppy gonna be picking up the last frag and finishing the half 6-6.
All right, 6-6. Very, very even game. And I do want to remind everyone this is a best of 1 round. All of the rounds today are best of 1 until the very last round. So we're in the round of 64 now. Obviously have quite a lot of Valorant ahead of us, but didn't expect it really to be such a tight one here in the round of 64, especially with these open signups. You never really know what caliber of team you're going to get, but I have to obviously give it to Opportunists, keeping it close here. Definitely giving themselves the chance at a victory and an upset. But Bonk, now that they're on the offense, we'll see how they do things differently. If you look at the team compositions, the only real difference here is the Rays swapped out for a Jet. And, you know, both of them obviously very lethal characters. Rays specifically can hold hallways very easily with tank grenades and things like that. Jet has the mobility to take over a site solo, so we'll see which might actually have the upper hand. The attacker is actually floating through mid. I do actually kind of like that on pistol rounds. I think you don't really need to worry about mid as much, obviously, when there's no op threat or phantoms out there. So curious to see where they go from here. It looks like they want to try to clear Cubby, but no one's even there from the defense.
Right, and they're going to shut the door on their faces as they're making their way in. They have a lot of time to still be playing with, so they don't even have to all in on the A site. They have a couple options. We'll see where they go, but you do see the Cypher looming around in the back, finds one there onto Brams, who is pushing just a little bit too aggressively. That's the aggression that we weren't seeing from Bonk in the rounds prior. You will know that there is a Sova here backing out, but loses the duel. Hoppy's going to be trading that one for one, as Yassine's going to find one. Going to find two after the teleport is completed. Necro not exactly where he wanted to be to start that one off.
Unfortunate for that Omen, just obviously getting domed immediately, but you can see the spike is going down now. Still 4 attackers to 2 defenders, so obviously big advantage there, especially in the pistol round where it's, you know, no real advantage for the defenders. And Sage gonna be creeping forward in the heaven area, but Raze should be able to deal with that. No, Raze actually was down in hell. Never mind. It's just tough to tell from the minimap sometimes. But another headshot. Logan trying to keep things close. Can't quite wrap it up though, and that is gonna be now the first attacker win here for Team Bonk. That's gonna give them a little bit extra cash in the pockets. Might see some SMGs. Actually, a Phantom getting loaded up here for Ziz.
Right, and they are putting a little bit of the strain on their wallets to go down this much, but I almost don't mind this in this scenario. You know, there's always that risk, right, of how much are you willing to spend on your second round? But they did get the first round into follow-up round win for Bonk, so I don't mind this, especially on aggression, where if you can just out-firepower the defending team, usually will run all right for you, and SMGs are a great way to try and run them down.
As the Sova drone goes forward, Yassine trying to, you know, shoot anyone who shoots at the drone. Obviously, it's kind of a 1-2 combo. Same with the boom bot, where you can try to flush someone out and, you know, follow up with a headshot. But at this point, they're not going to gain anything valuable just yet. Just burning that utility, gaining information. You can hear the door shutting now on A. A is heavily stacked. If the attackers can recognize this, they can just go to B. Like, we'll see in mid soon. Raze actually will probably discover that A is locked down and they can start moving.
That it definitely is, and you can see Sage hanging out towards the B bomb site. I think he just got spotted out by the camera, and that's going to be the call for the A team to be rotating. They have a 4-man push going all the way through. This could set up for an interesting post plant, as we'll see if Bonk are even going to be able to get out onto site. The problem is getting out onto site. You don't know how many members are coming around the corner, but 2 trains on either end of the map is how things are going to start off here.
This could be very explosive any moment now. Now you see the utility just flying out from every direction. The attackers just sweeping the area, but there's nothing to sweep. Brams and Logan going down very quickly there. Ziz watching their flank, gets the couple of kills. The last couple of defenders now remaining in market. I see a shorty equipped here. Hoppy, that's not the play, bud. And that is going to be a flawless round.
Not optimal in the least for that kind of a push out. And that was a scenario where actually the SMGs sort of pay for themselves, as in the chaos that kind of erupted with members flying in. You have a 5-man push B main into 4 people coming from the other side of mid. Ends up working out in Bonk's favor, just having that extra firepower. And as chaos theory would apply, you have a Raze, you have all of the guns. It's going to end up bringing you on top for that side.
And you could see actually in the kill counts there's a reason they let Ziz get the Phantom early. He's up, 19 frags. Next most was 12 on the team. Brams with the early op shot though is going to stop them in their tracks a little bit here. Oh, but Yassine fires right back. That's a long-range SMG kill.
That it was, and Brams kind of got caught looking in the wrong direction. I'm not entirely sure what he was looking at, but Roden's going to be looking in the right one. Only going to go 1 for 1 there, though. Bonker's swinging out onto him, and they should be opened up onto the site, but they're waiting for the plant as they know the push is coming. They have decent position for the crossfire, trying to just poke and prod their way in, and that will be Logan and Necro opening that one up. Not going to get the bomb down in the end, as just honestly a good synchronized push from the side of Opportunists. Going to be pulling that one ahead.
Taking a look at the econ here, Aaron does have cash for a gun. We'll see what he ends up with, but actually full loadouts on both sides here. Unsure about utility, of course, but at least everyone is strapped with an AR or better. And you can see Bonker's POV here, just loading up that Sova utility as they will be actually stacking the A side, slightly heavy. Perhaps, no, it's still like a 2-on-2. I guess Omen is going to just deal with Jet mid with that smoke and then decide where he wants to go from there.
Right, and that's going to be dark coverage thrown out there onto the connector side. We'll see what Bonk is able to make of just kind of prodding for information on this A site. No players into mid just yet, and while we do have the Omen kind of just playing around that area, Safe is going to be the first one to open things up with a shot onto Brams there. Op to op, and
you can see defensive Omen actually looping around now as that occurs, because it looks like Cypher is just unfamiliar with how many players are in that hallway. He's going to just trap up the exit right now, but obviously the attackers with a 5v4 advantage, they're going to loop around through spawn and rejoin everyone together here, so do expect some fireworks here. Actually, Bonker finding orange there, or Logan Jus d'Orange. That means the attackers obviously have a big advantage, 5v3 coming in here, but the defenders are aware that this push is coming, so maybe some ordnance flying out. Sova shock darts, but Sova's way over at A still.
Right, and with 30 seconds on the clock, that may come to be relevant if Bonk is deciding to make their way in. A good little beat-up bounce there. Yassine flying in with the showstopper there. Gets traded out by Roden, but that's an easy frag on. Now, Hoppy has the opportunity to slow this round down, gets smoked off, so he isn't going to be able to stop them. They're going to close the door on his face, and they should be able to get bombed down in time.
If Hoppy had X-ray vision as those three people walked through the Cypher screen, like, that would have been glorious for him to just lay into him, but he is actually cleaning up anyway. Couple of kills there, puts him up to 3, and we're in a 1v1 situation. Roden has been playing really well, but so has Ziz. And he is going to successfully get that attacking round cleaned up. 9-7 now for Team Bonk. Starting to separate a little bit here. We were 6-6, 7-7, now 9-7. Only a few rounds remaining in the game here. And Team Bonk have been executing pretty cleanly on this B site. But they did just get A as well. So they're able to shift it around as needed, waiting for those opening picks. Safe with the op has been very clean. Ziz has been watching mid each time. However, it doesn't look like the defense has a dedicated op mid, which some teams do opt for.
Right, they've kind of been having their Jet play aggressively with the op on the B site, and I do think it's kind of a note for Opportunists is defense side, they are very aggressive overall, just with the past rounds we've seen of how far they're willing to push up, and it hasn't always been working for them. Now, there is something to be said about being unexpected in that kind of play. Is Hunter's Fury's gonna come out, he's trying to track him down, gonna get one shot on as Aaron will be knocked down in the end.
That's the worst feeling to me. Dying to a Sova ultimate might be the worst feeling to me, because you know it's coming. You should have been able to get out, right? But man, it is tough sometimes when you get pinched. And Hoppy,
especially with that shock dart on you, you're just praying that you're sidestepping and that the ping doesn't come in time with his shot. But
Hoppy's
they will be finding that opening frag, and for now, it doesn't look like Opportunists are getting too aggressive, which I am kind of happy to see. And we'll hopefully see that be the difference in this kind of a round, as they're pivoting back over towards the A site now.
I'm fairly certain Omen knows that Raze is nearby, but now he is going to be unaware of these other 3 looping around. So as the utility flies out, that's a long-range Omen throw. He's actually going to port over to B, but does not have the spike. Jet... Wait, oh, they canceled the Omen teleport. Okay, Hoppy still here, dealing with attackers entering through A site. Front door, only 7 seconds left. This is not going to happen. Defense really had a tight grip on this round.
Yeah, no time left, but Yassine finds a little time to get a little exit kill there. We might see one more if he's able to find Necro in the smoke. He does.
Was that totally blind? Just bullet trail?
No, I would imagine that he poked his gun barrel through. We flicked away for a moment before we saw it, but unfortunately, just because you won the round does not necessarily mean the round is 100% over, and I think Opportunists kind of were saying to themselves, okay, good, we had an opportunity to be aggressive, no pun intended, of course, but they poke their heads just a little bit too far, and every time that they've been aggressive so far, Bonk has been pretty consistent about punishing.
All right, looking at Rodin's POV here now. Defensive Cypher, just all the gadget spots. Cypher's a character that I don't play much, but I do like learning from these positions here. I'm more of a duelist myself, but as Bonker moves forward now with the squad, you can see there's a couple of pistols in hand. So this is a tough round potentially here for the attackers. Yassine leading the charge here with the Phantom, hopefully gets an entry frag and they can trade up on guns. But Sage carrying the bomb, very, very common. Hoppy does get dropped, so that is going to be an upgrade for somebody. And the attackers in an interesting spot. You normally don't see them all crowded up mid like this.
Yeah, pushing all the way up into CT. Safe's going to pop the ultimate onto Yassine. It's such a hard area to challenge because you have to look both towards the back of B and A at the same time. But now they're in an interesting position as they have one Cypher lurking around mid, but it looks like A will be the execute as the camera not going to spot anyone out just yet. So Yassine's going to find one on the road and into hell. Necro's going to lurk. The Omen trying to hide in the shadows, and when he reveals himself, will he find anything? No, Yassine going to find him out, shining light on the Omen's dark days down in hell.
Unfortunately, Omen was all by himself, and you can see the other two players on his team bouncing around the attacker's spawn at this point. But at this point, obviously, another foregone conclusion. Looks like Team Bonk is going to step it up now 10-8. As the defenders just really don't have time. They're not going to try to overextend here. But again, well executed by the attackers. They had 3 pistols in hand to start the round. They were able to get that entry frag and trade up and just swarm A before the defenders could get into a solid enough position. Logan here, nice tap, but does fall. And that's a 4th kill for Yassine, who has been really shining here on the offense.
That he has, and you can see him now running around. He wants to find his ace. I'm wondering if Brams is going to give it to him. He'll be giving it to Safe, pushing out from the market area there, taking him down with an op shot, and still a fine position. Like you mentioned, the round was a foregone conclusion. No need to stress it out. All Yassine, of course, wants to pad his KDA. He's
trying to catch Ziz. 19,
that he
22, 19,
hold
and
on,
11.
Hold on. You can't be the only one popping off here. I'm playing a frag carry for a reason.
Correct. So we see a 3-2 split, heavy on the A side, however, keeping the spike back a bit. Obviously, when someone dies with the spike, that's going to reveal its location, so you'll see them just leave it at the beginning of rounds before they get some information. And there you see actually defense needing to back off at B after getting hit by the Sova reveal. Now Sova ult flying out once again. Yassine stops that with the showstopper. Excellent start.
Putting a quick end to that one, and I do like that Safe used the wall over towards the B side to get a good angle to peek into the A window through connector. Netting them that opening frag is huge because at 10-8, this is when you start to sweat if you're on the 8 side of things, and you start to be worrying about pulling all of the last few rounds out, and with 2 members down, you're hoping that Opportunists' nerves are going to hold steel. As for right now,
look at the Cyphers.
I know they're playing opposite ends of the wall. They're going to peek each other in the end. The smoke goes up, but Aura's going to be the one to open that one up.
Very nice. That was fun to watch. A little Cypher duel there, and Logan here with the op, trying to hold what he can, but 5v2, that's an impossible scenario with how Bonk has been playing here. 5-1 now. The lone Sage is going to be swarmed here. Omen and Raze both closing in on his position. Logan, unsure which direction to look, doesn't matter. Yassine pops his head off his shoulders and drops a 20 bomb now for himself. That's 11-8. Attackers favored here. They've got the cash, they've got the guns. Once again, they've got the 3-round advantage. So as good as Opportunists look, making it 6-6 at halftime, things are starting to fall apart a little bit on defense. And I do wonder if it is op difference, as Safe was just very, very skilled looking with it on defense, and now it looks like the Opportunists don't really have a person to match and keep that mid control. That seems to be, if I'm analyzing this correctly, I think their mid is a bit soft compared to Team Bonk's performance.
Yeah, I definitely think you have the right idea there, as the aggressive op plays from a defensive position are just that much harder to execute on. But speaking of execute, you've seen sprinting out, says, don't mind if I have a tracker dart on me. They know they're on pistols now, but that's not going to be enough to stop Hoppy. He's going to open one up. 2 kills traded back immediately from the side of Bonk. So 2 for 1 so far. Rodin still hunting around here. Pops the ultimate. Kind of get an idea of if they're backing out or not.
Rodin, it does that because you can see Jet and Sage were trying to start a collapse there, but now I guess with the information they've rerouted a little bit, but they know exactly where everyone on the attacking side is. Jet can actually watch from Cubby very easily there. Omen backing off though on the attack side is kind of interesting. I'm curious if he's going to try a different direction, but time is totally against the attackers now. Brams, excellent pick there, evening things up.
That it is, and the situation, like you mentioned, a little bit unfortunate for Bonk here, but the nice thing is they can re-execute onto the B site. There's not a whole lot of utility left, but as the ultimates pop, that's going to even the numbers back up, and now, exactly as you mentioned, the situation, the time is starting to run down.
So 4v4 situation, both reses committed, bodies are dropping left and right. You can see both Sages actually taken down in the same instant, and Rodin capitalizes on the Cypher duel once again, but 8 seconds left. Can he plant it? Is he going to even try, or is he going for the duel? It's not going to happen. Rodin with a triple kill and the Thrifty. Very nice there, keeping them in the game. They were down 3 rounds, so that was a big one for them.
Definitely. And speaking of rounds and nerves and pressure of the rounds here, that definitely could have been a round that if you are on the side of Bonk, you could have just said, okay, things got a little bit too dicey. They threw out enough ultimates. You could have just taken the back off there and just saved your econ into the next round. You have full weapons. You can just take the loss there, and you're looking forward to a Sage ulting someone that only has a Sheriff, but then in the final few seconds, they try to force an execute, and it doesn't end up netting them value, so that's going to mean a full buy here on both sides, Opportunists and Bonk here with guns to spare. We'll see who executes better, and 11-9, it's all going to come down to that kind of execution.
Looks like they're trying a bit of a squeeze play here on A. You can see Omen starting to clear that Cubby area. Raze and Sova have already used a lot of their utility. Sage keeping an eye on Market and CT, while basically they're just inching forward here. Now that's a defensive Omen play there to try and stall further. And again, the attackers, the onus is on them to start to push eventually, especially with these doors closing and things like that. But Safe pops off here, gets that opening frag for the attackers. And now B, they have to know B is soft because they've seen so much utility come out of A already.
That they have, and that was a Cypher almost all the way back in spawn. Safe kind of soloed up to the mid lane and was able to take that one out. Looks like he's spotting the tripwire here, and they don't want to break it just yet. They want to hold on to their mystery as long as they can, but popping that tripwire, they're making their way, and once again playing for this back site, but Brams in B main is going to be the first one to open that frag there. Misses out on that one, dashes, but unfortunately for him, there's a party coming in back site there. Shroud going out there. Decent amount of damage dealing out, but Necro gonna trade one, gets caught out. The defenders actually win. He was able to stop the bomb plant long enough. And when Yassine canceled his plant, he was not able to get the bomb down. 11-10 now. Defenders holding strong.
The attackers took 10 years. And finally, actually when Bonker went down, that was a huge turning point because he was slowly creeping forward with the spike. He got opt in the hallway by the Jet, and that just, everything started collapsing from there because A, they didn't have time to get to the site on time. B, they lost one of their top fraggers, and C, once the Jet got surrounded, they obviously still had a defender on B. So 8 seconds left once you reach the site is not enough, guys. Gotta press the gas occasionally here. Safe popping the enemy Sage. Excellent start here for the attackers again, but we did just see that same thing last round, so they gotta still work with what they're getting here.
Right, you are, and this is sort of an interesting point with what you're talking about of if Bonk is not going to be aggressive enough in times where Opportunist is overly aggressive. So a little bit of two sides of the same coin. And as it stands right now, Bonk are holding on to the lead, but it's slowly starting to hurt more and more, as this is most likely their last buy round if they aren't able to pull this one out. They can make the econ hurt for Opportunists as much as they want, but the rounds are going to start adding up, and especially with those win bonuses stacking, start to worry about how things are going to be going later on into these rounds.
So, ooh, Hoppy getting it started, but does fall over as well. I was going to say it's kind of interesting how they're crowding Cubby and not the A entrance, as we have been seeing, but obviously if they're not getting it done, it's important to switch it up and, you know, keep them on their toes. But the defenders now, Necro with an op, Brams with an op, they're just firing through the floor here, trying to find a kill, but Safe just backs off and gets that headshot. Close range op, again, I'm always impressed when they can just do the quick scope there. And now the situation is kind of falling apart for the defenders. They're going to back off. They're going to save their ops. Looks like Team Bonk will finally snap that streak of losses, round losses.
Definitely. And with the rounds kind of in the situations that they are of how many people have fallen throughout the past couple rounds, I think saving here, this is one of those points. Well, hold on, as Brams thinking about a shot onto the connector, exit there, but not going to find it. Shouldn't have enough time to just hang out in T-spawn here. But what I was just going to get at is this 11 to 10, these are those rounds that can really make or break teams as far as eco, because you do not want to find yourself on an economic back foot that you're not able to full buy on match point. As we're cresting into that, both teams should have a full buy on the table, and 2 ops on the side. Would need to hit tab to be able to see that, but I do believe they held on to 2 ops in the
Cypher
end.
and Brams both hung on to theirs. And now it's all the marbles actually here. Potentially, if the attackers can get that opening shot again. Safe has been really good for Team Bonk on opening up holes, but Brams watching with the op. We knew the defending Cypher as well. Yassine hopping over the wall there does burn a little bit of utility. They know Cypher's there. He's been playing it all game long. And I'm curious where this first blood is going to take place. It is a 3-1-1, actually kind of a 3-2 split, as nobody's really approaching B.
Right, but the Hunter's Fury, again, probing for information with that one. You've seen the paint shell gonna find Rodin there, as it looks like it will be the A execute. Fortunately for Opportunists, they've rotated most of their team over to this A site, so it's gonna be an all-out brawl on this one, unless they're able to find their way up to mid. You can see Brams holding on to that mid with the op. Will he have an opportunity to spot anyone rotating over? Still waiting on the execution, 50 seconds on the clock. We'll hope that Bonk isn't going to be caught out with a little bit too little time.
The Sage is trapped between the Jet and the Sage. It doesn't even realize it.
That he is. As Safe is going to find the first frag. It's going to be
still got it.
Jiggle Beak, but Hoppy cleaning that one up in the end. Going to trade that back. 1 for 2 overall still. So Opportunity still in the favor of Bonk. They're going to look for this A execute. 20 seconds on the clock.
I can't believe Safe got that kill, but as the bullets start to fly here, Bonk finds the kill. Ziz as well. Suddenly only 1 defender left. It's Jet approaching from heaven rafters. Still got 3 attackers left. This is a extremely tough situation, especially with the op. Does not have ult available. Does have a little bit of, you know, cloud smoke and some jumps, but not going to be much use if surrounded. And man, obviously they're not going to give him any op angles. He's revealed his location now.
Yeah, and that's sort of a situation where if you're Brams, you have to take a pre-fire like that. You have to hope for something, but in the end, Bonk are going to clean it up. If you're Opportunist, I would hope that you're still holding your head high after a performance like that, with kind of pushing them to only a 3-round difference. I definitely felt like Opportunists look like a solid team, and although they will be eliminated, I'd hope to see them coming back, because that was quite a good showing from them.
I agree, and obviously you can see the stats printout here. Average combat score, Ziz and Yassine trying to match each other basically on frags the entire game. Yassine did get more assists, so, you know, credit there. But Rodin obviously topping it for the Opportunists. Not enough by himself, though. And, you know, supporting characters, smokes, Cypher traps, things like that. Obviously 7 kills, 9 kills. It's just a factor of where you're playing most of the time. So, even low kill counts, obviously still very important. 8 assists on Aaron. More assists than kills. That always feels kind of tough as a player.
That it does. But I definitely, if you are RM, you've been playing with this team for a little while. You've kind of come in as a dedicated Cypher. So in that scenario, you don't feel too bad playing Anchor in this kind of a game with that much information. You're hoping that the info you bring to the table is what's going to pay for your team's win rather than your frag. And if you have combat scores like Z's, Yassine, and Save all with 200 plus, it doesn't feel too bad that you can let other people have the spotlight for